Hey, greetings and welcome to another episode of MOSHBITS, a bit of a shorter one, I can already tell you that, but given what's happening in the world right now, I'd say it's permitted. Now let's talk about the 3060 Ti, because after all, that's what you're here for, right? That's or AMD. Video cards blessed us with a leaked image of the Gigabyte Eagle 3060 Ti, and it looks quite sharp to be honest. It's smaller than its thicker brethren, especially the 3080 and the 3090, and it only has one 8-pin connector. That 8-pin should deliver about 150 watts of power, with 75 watts being offered by the PCIe slot, and it's common to do that nowadays, so don't be surprised if you hear that coming out of my mouth. However, this card with its 4,864 CUDA cores, 152 tensor cores, and 38 ray tracing cores, and 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory should take about 200 watts of power, so don't think it's quite a power-hungry beast like we've seen with the 3090. Now, pricing has not been confirmed yet, but VideoCard says that the custom models should cost around $400 US, so if you're looking for a solid performer close to the RTX 3070, then you're in luck. December 2nd is when we actually expect to see those cards go live, so buckle up for yet another launch fiasco, because I don't know what Nvidia is going to be able to do to avoid it at this point. But if we're to talk about Nvidia, then why not also give you some more information about the RTX 3080 Ti? We'll learn some more information about it, and as those chips just keep on changing every day now, take all of this information with a bit of salt. Now, the latest rumors are alleging that the RTX 3080 Ti Founders Edition card will sport 10,496 CUDA cores, 20 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory on a 320-bit bus with no NVLink, by the way. That's the difference against the 3090. And despite the identical CUDA cores with the 3090, we're getting a different memory configuration and no NVLink. This card is looking more and more like a competitor, or a direct competitor should I say, against the AMD RX 6900 XT. So let's look at what AMD is doing. Speaking of that, Powercolor is also entering the market with their RX 6800 and 6800 XT designs, but much like I talked about in my previous MOSHBITS episode, these cards look a lot like the reference design boards. No real big changes around here, not even with regards to the colors and whatnot. So I won't spend much more time talking about it, as these designs and specs are quite self-explanatory. If you want, you can check out the links in the video description to have a better look at them. But you're probably more interested about its performance rather than its looks, so let me tell you that the RX 6800 XT has managed to score on par with the RTX 3080 in the 3D Mark Time Spy benchmark, with stable drivers and performance, excellent cooling, but sadly with a noisy cooler. Now, I hope this is something that custom designs can fix, but it's worth noting that Nvidia's Founders Edition cards, for all it's worth, managed to deliver optimal noise performance, and by that I mean they were not as loud as a blowy Matron that Linus would use in one of his cooling videos. And of course, your mileage may of course vary when it comes to noise performance, as this is something a good case can get rid of, but with regards to performance, we've seen the GPU hit nearly 10,000 points as compared to the 3080's 10,220 points. Now that's quite impressive, but remember those are synthetic benchmarks, so actual gaming scenarios might be looking a bit different for either one of the companies, so be it Nvidia or AMD in this case. And currently AMD says their GPUs are faring better than Nvidia's 30 series lineup in quite a few games, and you can check that on their website, and I will make sure to leave some links in the video description. And it's quite funny to see how quite a few people are getting their hands on the upcoming RYZEN 5600X CPU, and how these benchmarks just keep on coming. The latest leaks we've seen show the 5600X as a capable overclocker with boost frequencies of up to 4.85 GHz across all of its 6 cores, and that's pretty reasonable. Now, the user also showed us some CPU Z results at stock with 640 points versus the 8700K CPU from Intel, this is the one I also have, with only 550 points. Compare that to the 2700X from AMD, we see that the 5600X scores 640 against the 490 for the 2700X. Now, latency has also seen some improvements on those chips given the changes that AMD has made to its new Zen 3 architecture, with the 5600X showing a latency of only 54 nanoseconds compared to the usual 60 to 70 nanoseconds. Now, Geekbench 3 scores showed a total of 8,250 points in the memory performance benchmark, and we've also had some Cinebench R15 results at 4.85 GHz, which means yeah, quite good. It scored 2,120 points in multi-threaded scenarios, and in R20 it managed to do that also at 4.85 GHz. We've seen 4,888 points. Now, more information can be found in the links in the video description, but this is already looking like a next big time seller for AMD. And just for context, the 3600, so this is last gen CPU, sold over 100,000 units in Germany on Mindfactory alone. That's only in Germany and for one retailer. That's bonkers if you just start thinking about it. And speaking of bunkers and like crazy things, let's see what EK and Linus are hiding from us. Bonkers is spelled differently than bunkers, but who cares? Now, I watched yesterday's LTT video and I have to admit I had a total blast when I saw the fastest transitions going on screen, so good job the editor. I forgot to actually edit it, but nevertheless, that's not important. We're here to talk about the mysterious elements from EK water blocks. Now, in their video, we've seen the 10900K running at 5.4 GHz with a 360mm rad at nearly 0 degrees Celsius. In gaming, 50 to 60C at 5.4 GHz as well, running Doom Eternal at max settings. Now, the editors at Tech Power Up are suggesting this might be a thermoelectric CPU, something which will draw a ton of power from your PSU, hence the 1600 watts PSU that they used in their video. But then again, they said they wanted to use two 3090 Ti's and they haven't done that, so maybe that's one of the reasons. I don't know, maybe EK has just figured something out to use less power. Otherwise, I think this might be the time to see power supply manufacturers come up with some bigger, beefier power supplies for our PC builds, and I can already see people spamming the stonks memes for Seasonic and Corsair. Now, wouldn't that be fun? Either way, we'll find out more about the cooler from another LTT video, so keep an eye out for it. And lastly for today, keep an eye out for the upcoming Apple Watch update, which will allow you to listen to Spotify by streaming it via Wi-Fi or data on your Apple Watch. And that's without the need of pairing it to your phone. And it seems funny to me that Spotify is now being allowed by Apple to test those things, and we've seen features being, well, this feature specifically being tested for about a month now, with updates expected to roll out to all new users quite soon. Now, is this something you're actually interested in? I could already do it on my Gear S3 Frontier Edition from Samsung, but I rarely use it, so I don't know. Do people actually want to do this on their watch? I mean, if you happen to have your phone on you, maybe you can do it with if you connect it to your headphones. Now, I can see how that might make sense. But that's been it for today's episode. Come back next time, or go and follow me on Twitter and visit crowd.com if you want to keep on talking about tech. And don't forget that links to all of the original articles will be in the video description. This has been Alex with the Red Elk, signing off. Bye.